you see. And that's one reason why I'm talking about taking over the infrastructure. See, taking over the infrastructure is not that we just replace the people for the hell of it, but it means that the monies that we gain from this can be used to build a school system, can be used to build recreational centers, cultural centers, other kind of centers that can make up or more than compensate for the problems in the public schools. Yes, ma'am. I'll cut them short here because our time is running out.
For African American students who are getting ready to go to colleges, what is your opinion about African American students who are going to black colleges as opposed to going to integrated colleges?
Of course, I'm a product of a black college, but not only for that reason, I without hesitation recommend the attendance of a black school for a number of reasons. First of all, do not fall victim to the myth that because it's black, it's inferior in its educational qualifications. If you study the history of African American people, you will recognize that our most intellectual people, our leadership, and so forth has come right out of black schools and colleges and universities. And this not only is because of the academic quality of these schools, but also just because of many intangible qualities that you gain. The quality of being amongst your own people, and seeing them express their intellectuality, seeing an institution run by your own people as such, and being a part of that institution, becoming sensitively aware of the needs of your people and what our people face and what our people must do, the kind of spirit that you get when you go there. The idea that you're not being educated solely for your own individual existence, but your education is tightly bound up with the advancement of your people. It's no way that I could have seen, in terms of my education and my career, being separated from the struggle of black people. It was inconceivable because we came up under that kind of structure. Even when the academic equipment and so forth may not equal pound for pound what you see in white schools, it's often more than made up in terms of the determination and stamina that you learn and develop from going to these schools. And this is true this can be attested to by the fact that when you measure black students coming from black schools going to white graduate schools and compare them with black students who've gone to predominantly white schools going to graduate schools, you'll find that the black students going to predominantly black schools, southern colleges, do on the average better than those who've gone to white schools as such. So you're not going to suffer a handicap by going to a black school. And of course, since all of us can't go, I'm not saying if you can't go, don't go. If you happen to go to a white school, or predominantly white school, you can still maintain your black consciousness and your black sense of self. I went to a university here where there were as many as 3,000 black students in one college there, the Virginia Commonwealth University, which means that that black student body in that white school was larger than many black colleges. So if you then become a part of the African-centered student group, you can maintain your African integrity and survive as an African person, even in the midst of white folk. So the key thing then is to maintain a sense of yourself and a sense of who and what you are, and maintain your African identity no matter where you are, among whom you may be. And if you do that, you'll survive it and you'll do well. Yes, sir.
Since welfare is used to pacify the poor people, can we look upon President Clinton's proposal to take people off of welfare in 2 years as something as a start of a new movement after you take those people off of welfare?
No, you just laugh. That's all you do. It's a joke. You can't take the thing seriously. That's what we call for political consumption. We get that kind of joke all the time. Workfare instead of welfare. I mean, just look at the ludicrousness of it. How are you going to make work for welfare people when people who aren't on welfare can't find any work? You know, we're talking, what did we just get through talking about? The laying off of what? Thousands of people? Hundreds of thousands of people? And Clinton is going to perform a miracle and create work for people on welfare? When people who already own jobs cannot maintain even the jobs they have? Come on. This is a joke. You laugh at stuff like that. You don't even take it seriously. There's nothing new about that. It's one of those games that a president plays because he feels obligated to make the statement in order to get his main program through. You see. And so when he's asking white folk to pay taxes, increase taxes, when he's talking about increased taxes on corporations, when he's telling these people that they're going to have to make sacrifices, what can he ask the poor to do but sacrifice their welfare? You see, to make it appear that everybody is in this thing together. And so it, in a sense, takes the edge off of what he's asking white folk to do to make it appear to them that he is getting on those welfare loafers, you know, in a way that he's asking everybody else. But that's not come true. This idea of getting people off in 2 years is a farce. Plus, plus just a quick aside on this. What if you did get people off on welfare and you really trained them to work? And you trained them, let us say, to be computer operators, right? And now you decided that since they're on welfare and they must work, you can get them to work for $4 an hour. What will happen there? You can replace those who are already on that job working at what? $10 or $15 an hour. You understand? So you have to be very careful with these kind of idiotic statements because they really are just that. The idea of getting people off welfare and you're going to work them. The other thing I must bring to you while we're at this also feeds into the mythology that welfare is a major cost factor in the U.S. budget. And that simply is not true. The people who get the most money out of the U.S. government are people who make $50,000 and above. People who make $100,000 a year get more money from the government than people who make $10,000 and under. Understand what I'm saying? So there's a myth that the people on welfare are the ones that's causing the problem. Not at all. It's groups that you wouldn't even know. And it's that famous middle class that gets a lot of the money. You see, if that middle class, you get that middle class that tries to say it's so self-determining that they make it on their own. Tell them to really look at their tax credits. Ask many of them, how many of them will turn down the FHA loans? How many will turn down the loan guarantees by the government and so forth, which supports middle class life? One day we'll talk about the whole bit, but there's a great deal of unfairness, a great deal of deception, a great deal of nonsense that's being laid out about welfare, people on welfare, and all the other stuff. You can only get over this, though, if you really read and come to understand what is actually going on in the world and act in your own political interest. Thank you very much for your attention. It was great to hear you.